Okay. All right. We are recording.
All right. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Our third week now doing these Monday morning meetings. And as we like to joke last week, that things are only as good as they are at the exact moment that we say it. So at 9:05, this is what's happening. Because last week we discussed a lot about what we were going to do. And it wasn't shortly thereafter that the principal's administration changed everything. And we are now at alternating day schedule. So you're either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, depending on your last name, apparently. So, which I think is great because I wondered that about, older kids and younger kids. So at least the entire district is set. And then if your kids have different last names, and they'll adjust for you. So we are on Monday and Wednesday here in my house, and Tuesday and Thursday, I guess we're home, and Friday everybody's home. Good morning, Bretton. How are you?
Good morning.
We are just opening it up and discussing the new schedule. I'm sure most people are here to talk about. So what I'd like to open up with is how everybody is kind of handling that, or what their plans are for their household. I mean, obviously, for us, we are doing Monday and Wednesday as per our last name. On Tuesday and Thursday, I think the biggest thing that we're working on or planning to do is try to maintain a schedule. Which was the biggest thing we did, I think, at the end of last year when we went to the at-home schedule, was to try and maintain, certain time the kids get up, certain time the kids do this, certain time the kids do that. If nothing else, just for their sanity as well as ours, so that I think my biggest concern is if we let them sleep till 9 on Tuesday and Thursday, it's gonna be really hard to get them up at 7 on Monday and Wednesday. As much as I'd like to sleep till 9, I guess, now that I'm working home during the day and working nights at my job. So that's kind of what our plan is right now, is to try and maintain that schedule. But we're good with it. I like the smaller class size. I like the idea that that's what they went with, and that was the push for. I was glad I know they discussed this earlier in the summer and sent out that poll for parents to take, and I thought it was a great idea. That way you can maintain size, class size. Unfortunately, I know a lot of parents don't feel the same as far as having to go back to work. I think that's going to be really tough for people. The first question I asked Eric when I found out about this was about lunches. So as far as what he had told me, and what I can tell you as of 9:08 this morning, is that it sounds like there'll be the same sort of thing where you can go pick up a bag lunch if it's not your day to be in school. So they'll have some sort of plan for kids to still get lunches. There's odd days and then Fridays. So I think that was a big concern we had last year when this first all went down, was how we were going to get kids fed. I think it also gives the school a chance to put eyes on kids to make sure that they're available around, or at least that they're present somewhere, and not waiting 2 or 3 days to make sure you see them again. This was big for us. So as of Monday, after our meeting and Monday night, we had planned to leave Centerville Elementary. We were going to go to West Bountiful. They had cut the Spectrum program in 4th grade. So we were having to give them the choice to stay at Centerville or to move. So I thought about it, and we thought that the best thing for Ben at that point was probably to move to a full-time Spectrum class, which would have been West Bountiful. But then Tuesday morning, this happened, and we realized that maybe the benefit of 2 days of Spectrum didn't outweigh the benefit of 2 days in the modified Spectrum that we'll be doing at Centerville. So we thought best to stay at Centerville. So this was a big thing for us. It definitely changed our plans. I know. Everybody's. I was going to stay on the PTA either way. So
I know.
I made a separate decision.
We're very excited, though.
I'm excited to still be there. I mean, like I said, I think the best thing for Ben full time may have been to move to another Spectrum class, but with the change alternating days, I think the best thing is to keep him set and settled in Centerville with his friends.
Well, and having that consistency across the board too, it's just keeping him there and keeping him with his friends there, and then he gets to know teachers also, and then we have, of course, we'll have a hand in taking care of him. So thank you. I mean, thank you for keeping him. We want him there. So,
and we want to be there. It's an unfortunate situation that's happening.
Yeah.
And then as Eric and I talked, and this affects Sharon, is for next year, is that we really need to push Spectrum. is to get kids tested and get them available and moved, hopefully, so that this doesn't happen next year to Sharon's class, and we don't
I
lose the
would
next class.
appreciate that.
Yeah. So I don't know how it slipped through the cracks this year because we didn't advertise it very well. The district said they did their job to send it to the school and send it to the Peach Jar, which I told them is a waste of time. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And nobody reads Peach Jar. I don't know if the rest of you parents read Peach Jar. I tend to not read it. So that's something we need to work on in our school.
So go ahead. Go ahead. Evelyn does have a question, though. I just want to make sure.
No, perfect. Yeah, I'll just open it up. So that's what we're doing. So I want to open up to parents about their questions about alternating days and what they're doing. So Evelyn, how are you?
I'm good.
It's good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. So the kids are going back to school, or is it online?
That was their choice. So right now it's a blend of both if you choose to stay in school, as I understand. So your last name is T. So if your kid's last name is T, they'll be going Tuesday and Thursday to school, and they'll be home Monday and Wednesday, and then all kids are home on Friday. With the option that sounds like if you need to talk to a teacher, go see a teacher, that's a day to go into the school to work independently. But everybody will be home on Friday. But as of August 1st, you were asked to enroll online. And I think you still can. You're just not guaranteed a spot. You can enroll online for the all day, all night, every day.
Oh, okay. And school's when? Or did it start already today?
No. So we'll be having our popsicle meet and greet on the 24th, which is Monday. The teachers go back, I think, the 15th, 16th, 18th, something like that. And then our first day back to school is the 25th. So Tuesday. So I guess some people, the first day back to school will be Wednesday. I guess. I'm not sure. I guess we start day one.
Yeah, and one of the unanswered questions, and I think that we will address it, and I don't know if maybe Nancy knows this already, but you probably do, but because that Tuesday on the 25th was supposed to be a half day, so does that mean Wednesday is also a half day?
Yes.
Okay.
The district has decided that each day that week is going to be a short day.
Okay.
So just that short day Friday schedule, because Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday will be first days for the different A, B schedules, and Thursday is a short day as well. And then and that also means that obviously Friday is considered a short day. We also decided as a JSSC in weighing a few options that we will have back to school virtual back to school night. It's not at night. And so the day before the first days of school, we will have teachers will send out a video presentation about their classroom and introduce themselves just as they would if you were at a meeting. And then we have scheduled half-hour meetings that will be, for instance, on Zoom for you to talk to your teachers individually if you'd like to, for parents to, and ask any other questions that you have. And we have scheduled half-hour time segments for the morning if you have some questions for that. And there'll be a letter coming out from the school, I hope today. I was hoping it would head out this morning before this meeting, but it is very detailed plan for opening. It covers, along with back to school night, it has all kinds of procedures, including the fact that with half as many students at the school, we won't be having staggered start and ending times, because we feel as though there's room to line up safely with distance. And so that's another thing that's in there with this change in schedule. We were feeling very grateful that we didn't send out the letter the week, before. So anyway, that should be coming out, I'm hoping today. So
Did they cancel the popsicle meet and greet then for doing a
we
pseudo back to school
decided
night?
not to. But with the caveat that we would all distance and that we would, wear face coverings, and we'll use gloves to pass out the popsicles.
We are still do that
And,
Monday night?
So Monday from
24.
2 to 3 o'clock is always when we have scheduled it, so that they can come the day before school and we'll be there.
So does that answer your questions, Evelyn? You have more questions about that?
No, that answered my question.
Are you
So the
excited?
first-
Kids excited?
Yeah. So Tuesday will be the start of school. Actually, it'll be a B day. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So the
So
last
M-
half of the
M through Z.
alphabet. They're going to consistently keep it that way. So from L to Z, if your last name starts, then Tuesday the 25th will be the first day of school. And then Wednesday will be the first half of the alphabet. And then Thursday will be a B day, and it will go from there with that schedule.
So I have a question. So my kids are A day, and I wondered how we were going to work out only doing. They have so many Mondays off for teacher prep day and stuff like that. So will my kids just only go to school one day that week, or will they like pick up a Friday instead? Do you know that?
I think
That's a really good
we'll
question.
work that
too.
out.
Yeah, because I know
find
there's so
out.
many Mondays off.
I asked
Also-
the same
I'll find
question.
out that specific question.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe they should have Mondays off and kids go to school on Fridays with that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe there's
and then
less Fridays.
also, yeah, I wondered too, like, how is Friday gonna look? Maybe you teachers can kind of say what it's gonna look like in your room. I guess I'm kind of confused. Is it just gonna be like a review day, or a day like my child can make an appointment and come in to see you? I guess I wasn't sure if it's gonna be like a formal, like, routine teaching online. Can you explain a little bit about Fridays?
I can tell you from my point of view, just because I know you have older kids and Sharon jump in, but Fridays are usually our assessment days. And so assessments can be done online. So we just are going to, I know that I'm going to, and I think Sharon was on board with this, that we're going to stick with Friday being our assessment days. That way, whatever we're teaching for the week, then they'll be assessed on Friday. Now, the other thing with that is that we will also do small group lessons if we need to. If we feel the need to do that, we'll do a small group. But because our groups are so small right now, it's going to be a little bit easier to get through to our students, because we're doing those small group lessons. Not saying that they're not going to need it, because they might,
Right.
and that's fine. I think that they make an appointment over Zoom. I don't necessarily think that we are actually doing any in-school conferencing. Nancy, you can jump in there. From my understanding, it's that we do one-on-one Zoom or just a small group on Zoom. It's not that they're coming back into the school, because I think we need time to disinfect and
Right.
whatever we're needing to do. So
They can actually make an appointment but it has to be by appointment if they're coming into the school. If the teacher needs, if a parent needs their child to have some, clarification that way. And it is up to the teacher what that day will look like, just like if they were in school, that it would look different. Or, if you walk into any of our classrooms, we do a little bit different thing on Friday. And so whatever your Fridays kind of looked like before when we were off school, it's possible that they will look that way, but it is up to each teacher, because they're the ones who implement the curriculum.
Okay. Another question, I came up with a few questions that don't necessarily pertain to me personally, but I thought would be interesting to hear feedback from.
No,
But
perfect.
another
Thank you.
is, Another is, will you kind of speak to what our online learning days will be like? I know during the soft close last school year, I mean, kids weren't expected to sit for 6.5 hours and watch Zoom or beyond. So it was kind of a modified schedule, and there was review things. And is that similar to what this online school year will be like for the half time, or are they going to be more review lessons because you'll be seeing the kids and doing in-person instruction? Kind of what are those online days going to consist of? I mean, should I plan on 3 to 6 hours for my school day?
No, not 6 hours, but we're looking at 50 minutes, 50 minutes
Okay.
per subject area.
Okay.
That's
40.
well, Amber just told us. Sharon didn't. I thought we heard 50, Sharon, or was it 40? Because
Maybe there's some difference per grade level. I
yeah,
don't
it
know.
could be a
That's
difference per
possible.
grade level too. But okay,
Like
so
the
if
older
it's
person's younger.
40, even
Is that
40
just
minutes.
the three main subject areas? So
So it's
math, science, and
science.
language arts?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's from what I understood when I saw Eric on Tuesday. Things could have changed.
Okay. And I'm assuming there'll be kind of specific, like, playlist or a specific thing, like, okay, yes, you're always going to work on your Alex, or you're always going to work on for math to do your review or whatever. So it's going to be predictable, so the parents can, I'm thinking if parents are working from home, or if they're going to work and having to do school at night with kids, it's going to be pretty routine. It's going to be a predictable schedule.
I think that teachers will try and just like at school, maybe we do the same things on Tuesdays and on Wednesdays, and teachers will try and make it as predictable as we possibly can. And then there are resources we can draw from to this year. The thing that I know is that unlike the very end of last year where they asked us for the last few weeks of school to make sure that it was a little bit of review curriculum, there was a certain point where we were asked not to put new things that students had to know up. This is school as school needs to progress every
Yeah.
day. And
Yeah,
so,
new concepts.
yeah. And so we will try and do the things that are best taught live when your students are with us. And then there are some things that adapt better to online learning. And that is what we will be assigning at home. And so I think that as teachers work through it, we will try and have certain patterns that we establish. And so you will be able to count on what's coming, even though there may be something a little bit different. Mostly, and for our own sanity too. It's just a lot easier to have some routine that way. So I think you can count on the formats and basically what your students will do at home being pretty consistent.
Pretty consistent, yeah.
I would assume that as teachers, you would send the parents like the Canvas invite, the Canvas login and stuff, so we're able to follow up, make sure that they're on there and doing what's assigned to them.
Yes, and that doesn't really happen until school, starts. So they send out that Canvas invite, and you will be in the classroom and enrolled. But that enrollment doesn't really start until school starts. And so there are online videos to train how to use it, etc., that parents could, go and watch. Perhaps we can send some link information out from the school, but so that Canvas course it's until you're actually enrolled, that's when you will show up in the Canvas system. So
And as a parent, I feel like I can rest assured that new instruction and teaching new concepts, I can leave to you guys, the professionals. I can just be the support staff at home. I don't have to teach any new concepts, or I don't have to know how to do 5th grade math,
No, we actually are going to actually make you do that, Britton, just so that you.
Yeah, I was told to send my kids to you, Britton. So
Yeah.
No. Okay, that's good. I've heard, in my neighborhood, I've heard people be anxious about like, well, I can't teach them. I don't know, 5th grade math, or I don't know what they're supposed to know in 1st grade. And I said, no, they're going to be learning that. The teachers are going to take that on. That's, they're pros. They can do it. We're just the support. So
on that, so if we're stuck at home, say, we have a day, and so on Monday, so Tuesday when we're home, if we have questions, is Canvas the way we get a hold of you, or Class Dojo to say, hey, I just can't get this, and I'm trying to follow up, and I know you guys are doing the other set of kids, but is there a time that you guys set aside to, answer those questions? Is it your prep time? Is it lunchtime? That we don't want to bother you, but that's going to be a concern I think parents have is when we get the homework coming and saying, we just can't figure this out.
I think that will have to be something that that we can certainly ask of teachers, that parents would have a time that they could ask if they need to. But unlike the last time when teachers were very accommodating about answering questions just about any time of the day, I think we would agree that it was kind of all the time. So I think that we could, ask teachers to have a few minutes of time when they're not teaching live with them, that they could answer any questions. But you can be sure that they will do it as, quickly as we can.
Because you also have those parents that are doing teaching at night or doing it with night with their kids, and
right.
That their kids are maybe at daycare or house sitting or something.
Right.
No, you're getting texts in the middle of the night saying, I'm sitting out with my kids and I can't do this now.
Well, and I want to put it out there that, although I don't have any children at home, I still have a life at home. And so that, I don't, no, I don't. We can't make teachers available 24/7. I mean, we just can't.
But I think we could ask teachers if we can have, sort of office hours like they do at a university, a time when they could connect with their teacher, and most certainly we can, ask them to have some of those hours on. So
I just know that all teachers are flexible. So, I'm sure we'll do whatever it takes, but there's going to be times where, we can't get right to the question too. So we're all human.
Are we doing what we did last year? We go in and get packets and tablets?
Well, that's a good question. I'm assuming the first week that you guys will send something home as far as what's our digital learning situation.
Yeah. And once again, it kind of depends upon the teacher and the way that they assign something. I think when your child attends school, it's possible that your teacher will send home materials. I think in some ways it depends on the subject. I know in kindergarten, it's just so much easier to have some kind of physical copy of something. And so depending on, the subject and the time and the teacher, but I know that I plan to send home hard copies of things just because I feel like it's easier for parents if they have it. And so I will do it when the students are attending, and that way they can bring it home. That parents won't be picking it up at school.
One question on that, and I don't know if the JSSC talked about if it's in the letter, but for people that don't have iPads and computers at home, now you've got kids going back and forth, and I don't know the best situation is to have kids keep throwing iPads in their backpack to travel back and forth.
Yeah,
so,
we did discuss that, and because we are pretty much a one-to-one school, your student will be assigned an iPad or a, you know, or a little Chromebook. And so they will have to transport the device back and forth from school because it's the one we have for your child to use. And so if they're using it at home and you have the computer resources you need to learn from home, then if you want to, you could store that as the one that they use at school, knowing that sometimes software is installed, or if they access it through Clever, it's a little bit harder to do on a home device. And if they have a school device, it's a lot easier because it has the software installed, etc. So it will be a matter of transporting it back and forth if you don't have a device at home to work from. If you had one that worked for you last year, hit hooray. But a lot of people, for instance, had problems logging in through Clever, mostly because whether they didn't do it through Office 365 or something like that. And so, but your student will be assigned a device to use. They have put together a little, because when you sign for the device, which will be in Encore, which through your MyDSD account, when you sign for a device, you are, you know, you are responsible for it, and you basically sign that, you know, you will take care of it. We understand that there could be problems. The district will have available an insurance policy that you could take out on the device in case something happened to it. I'm not exactly sure about the cost of that. It's, you know, I don't know. Anyway,
I wondered if Alia
not
started freaking out yet.
expensive, but if you were really concerned about it, you could do that. So
Yeah, I'm sure Miss Johns is
plan.
having a meltdown or freaking out a little bit about this. The things travel back and forth. I mean, as teachers, this is just another thing that you guys have to do every day is, you know, hey, make sure your iPad's in your backpack so that when they get home, the parents say, hey, my kid didn't bring an iPad home. And say, yes, I put it in their backpack, and then I know they have it, but you know, that's something else now that's on your plate.
Yep, it is.
I think there's a list of things that are on our plate that we don't normally do, but I think that the hardest part is going to be making sure that it comes back to school. It's okay to get it there, get it home, but getting it back from home on the days that they're supposed to be there, that's going to be, I think, the toughest part. So I'm not sure how much technology I'm going to be able to add into, you know, my lessons. My lessons are probably going to be hardcore lessons. You know, we're not using technology because I want to get the content out. So
and it's possible that will be the case, you know, for a lot of teachers that, as I mentioned, you know, there are some things that are just best done live, and that we will try and do those things. And then that, you know, the learning at home may be more on a device.
Well, everyone, it sounds like that everybody's getting assigned a digital equipment. I don't know what your Wi-Fi situation is home. I know that the district has resources for if you don't have Wi-Fi or issues at home, but kids are going to have to travel back and forth with their iPads or laptops or whatever it is that's issued to them. So that's another thing for teachers and parents to have to work on.
Right. I'm good. This year I only have 2 students in elementary and 2 in junior high. So.
Mm-hmm. And then junior high should be, well, junior high is a new experience, I guess, for those of us that have kids in junior high as well. Still A and B day, but they also have A and B schedules, which is a whole other issue. And so I'm waiting to hear from the junior high on what their plan is. I think we're being proactive. I've heard nothing from the junior high. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could answer questions for the junior high, but that's outside my pay grade.
It is a little bit different kind of schedule at the junior high, but we will get some, there is a little bit of information on from the district about that. You could look and find
Yeah,
out.
I saw like, in our situation with, being an A or, A through L or whatever, our A day is on Monday, our B day is on Wednesday. But what that looks like, we don't know yet.
So that Tuesday is the kids go into school, and then Thursday they're home.
No, for your letter group, you'll be Tuesday and Thursday in school.
Oh,
And then then Friday, everybody's out of school.
oh, okay.
And then your kids will be out of school Monday and Wednesday. And that's when you'll be doing the follow-up. So it's a little odd for the last name. So the concepts you learn on Thursday, you're supposed to do on Monday as a follow-up, and then go back to school on Tuesday, as I understand it.
Oh,
But you'll
okay.
get concepts on Tuesday, then Wednesday is a follow-up at home that you'll work on, then you'll get concepts on Thursday that you're supposed to follow up on Monday to come back on Tuesday.
Okay. I get it now. Okay, I get
Well, I'm
it.
glad you get it, because it's not easy for all. So I was glad that we were in the first group, because the second group seemed a little confusing, especially the junior high level, as far as how you follow up. I said Thursday is your day, and then Monday is your follow-up day at home. It was like a weird carryover.
Okay.
What other questions you have that we can pretend we know the answer to if we really don't?
I think that's it. And that's only for the first half of the year, right?
It says
Until
up until Christmas break at this point, which was, part of the reason we chose to stay in Centerville is at least it was the first half of the year that
Right.
this was happening. I don't know that we'll have the rest of the year. Some parents are pushing hard to go back to school 5 days, and I think if things don't change, then we'll keep doing it. It'll be weird that it's at Christmas break. I know that's the big break, but the term ends at the end of January. So you would think it would be at the end of the term. So maybe at the Christmas break, they'll make that decision, and then end of the term they'll swap or something like that. I don't know that it'd be a hard break in the first of the year.
Say through that Christmas break isn't the measure. In the information they sent out and the video that they made, he said that it would be through that second term is when they plan to do it.
Yeah, that makes more
But
sense.
that doesn't mean that plan can't change, because this week has been evidence of that. And just like this decision was made because of the total transmissions in the community, it had very little to do, really wanting to start school, etc. But it really is about the infection rate that's going on, and in connection with the Board of Health.
I think as parents, we can expect, and again, this is my expectation, is that it won't get less, it'll only get more. Because I don't think we'll go back to 5 days before the end of the second term. We can only expect that it might not go back to 5 days after the second term. So I think that was kind of the ideas that they gave us, is don't expect less, only expect more. So I don't think it's going to get better necessarily. I think it can only get worse as far as this continuing or us going completely online. But that's as I understand it. Anybody else? A whole handful of people, and everybody's we watch online, so please give us your questions. Morning, Harris.
I have a couple questions.
Please. How are you?
I don't know. Good. Sorry, my name's Kinsey.
Hi, Kinsey.
We just have it on here general.
That's
so,
okay.
I don't know if this has already been said somewhere. I'm not on Facebook. I don't do that. So when do we find out who our teachers are and like how we can communicate with them?
Well, this is a good example. This week was a good example of one of the reasons the last 2 weeks really, the reason we haven't sent out our class list is because they are changing constantly. And so there will be a parent letter come out just explaining several things. We had quite a lengthy discussion at our JSSC, our Joint Staff Committee meeting, about when to send it out. We talked about the 10th, and with all of the changes that are coming up, and the district has kind of extended the dates kind of made it a softer date for applying for online school until August 7th. Because of this change, they decided to have a little bit more time. And so we really know that you would like to have your class list. But the decision was made that we will send them out August 14th. And I know that's not as soon as everybody would like, but I just want you to picture getting a class list on the 10th and having your child and saying to your child, oh, look, you're in this classroom. And then we have to change things. And that the awkwardness that comes with all of that. And so we set the date, August 14th, for class lists to come out, because we feel as though there will probably be changes in those lists, and we don't want to disappoint you. It's never come out earlier than that time in the past. Maybe you're a little bit more anxious. But for instance, in first grade, you can be sure that you'll either have Mrs. Tafui or you'll have Mrs. Wolfley. And so that was, we discussed it a long time because we know that parents are very anxious for it. But we also decided that our parents need to know that it would be really outweighed if we had to suddenly change a class a lot. So that was our decision as we worked through it. And we're hoping that the back to school night before school starts will be a little bit more helpful to you. And as I said, this letter that's coming out is very detailed. It will describe procedures and all, 8 or 9 pages of it. So we hope that with some other information coming out, that the class list will be, but August 14th is the date that we set.
Centerville's a tough spot, Kinsey, because I'm sure a lot of schools are a tough spot. But as far as Centerville, so speaking personally for our school, with the loss of Miss Hanson last year, Miss Smith left, Miss Bedard left. So Mr. Gallons moved up to 6th grade. We have a new 5th grade teacher. We have a new 6th grade spectrum teacher. We have a new 3rd grade teacher. We lost our spectrum class. So Miss Schmidt lost her split class and went to all 5th grade. So there's a lot of changes. That's what Miss Bittner's talking about, is that there have been so many changes just within the past 2 or 3 weeks that if you got a class list, chances are it's only good as of the day you got it. And they're probably still changing kids right now, especially with the online, because a lot of that's going to be based off of, if one classroom loses all their kids to go online, then obviously you have to move kids again, move teachers again. So I'm in the same boat. We love to know where teachers are and stuff like that, but I don't want to know too early either and then have to change something. So I don't know if that helps.
I'm definitely not buying a 5th grade t-shirt. Like, I'm a 5th grade teacher t-shirt. I'm not doing that yet because I have no idea.
Okay. And that's fine. I just wasn't sure if it was already out or if I just missed something. And then my other question is more of, I've heard a lot of controversy about this new schedule the district has come out with, and I'm more just like leaning on the side of, I'm just trying to support whatever is coming out, because I don't feel like it's, anyway. So I'm just curious to know, from a teacher's perspective, how are you guys feeling? Do you feel like this is a better situation, like this is the best situation in given the, like, I guess what's in or out of your control, or are you worried about like this and how the kids are going to learn and how we're going to all manage this?
I don't know, Sharon, you have kids in school, so you're a parent and a teacher. So what do you think, Sharon?
Well, I also have an interesting perspective. For me, I was actually very relieved when they announced the schedule. Having 24 to 26 kids in my classroom and trying to keep them socially distanced and healthy, and thus keeping myself healthy and not passing something on to my husband that could kill him, I was very relieved. And yes, I know there's challenges. My daughter right here, I'm going to be at the school every day. She's going to be at home with her 15-year-old brother 2 days a week. Oh, see, she even knows. And I will probably have to modify my schedule to come home at lunches and check on them and do other things. But as a teacher, students do many things when they're inside my classroom. I'll pull them into a group and then they'll do some independent group and some group work. It just means restructuring my day so that some of that independent work, instead of doing it in my classroom, they're doing it at home. So all it is to me is really restructuring. And yes, there are challenges that come with restructuring, but as a teacher, I was relieved. I can watch half the number of kids in the classroom. I can keep them socially distanced. I can keep them healthy. I can have them walk down the hallway. Because you saw our classes last year, when you have 28 or 30 kids in a class, you already take up the whole hallway. How are you going to socially distance them? As far as the hygiene, masks, managing all of those things to try and keep everyone healthy, I felt relieved. To be honest, I felt relieved. I think it's doable. Knowing what the district has put in to make modules available for us as teachers, and having seen some of those modules, I feel like we're in a much, much better place than we were last fall. Last fall, we were just in survival mode. But there's a lot of resources this year that weren't available. The district has spent all summer preparing for that. And so I feel good, actually. I'm excited for the change.
Okay.
Other
Thanks.
teachers, what do you guys think?
And I think that that's a good description. I remember the week before we went on soft closure, I was so concerned about my ability to keep students safe that it was really quite distressing, just to think that I would have to, and when some of the parents started to keep their kids home. And I was very relieved when the district made the decision to have the soft closure, because it meant that I could keep them safe. And the same is true for this time. And it would be completely different, I feel, if the infection rates in the community were lower. But with astronomical numbers of, infections, I feel relieved that I can have the kids line up and come into school safely, and that when they're there, they'll be safe. And I'll tell you the truth, the idea of working with half the number of students at a time could be a dream come true. And I love the idea that I can personalize the learning even more, and prioritize what I do at school, and then I just feel as though we will be so much more able to provide the environment that will be safe at school.
Okay, thank you. Sounds great.
Yeah, and to follow up on what Sharon was saying, and Ms. Camacho, that I think a lot of it's going to rest on us as parents, as far as just to follow up with what they're doing. When it comes home, we can't just drop the ball, which is likely to happen with some families in other districts and other places. But hopefully at Centerville, that we understand that they're doing the best they can the Monday and Wednesday, and then on Tuesday and Thursday or whatever, it's going to be really up to us to kind of to pick up that ball and keep moving with it. And whatever that means, whatever it has to be, we have to have our buy-in. So hopefully, if you choose to stay in school, that you've bought into this and you're able to do that for 2 days or 3 days, whatever it's going to be. So,
I had a parent ask me if I felt like this was put upon me from the district, that they were really going to do this all the way along, and that they waited as long as they could to see if more kids signed up for online school, etc. And the answer to that is, I feel like, although I follow district policy because I am an employee of the district, I really feel as though they started with the state mandate that we go back to school, and that it was entirely upon conditions at the time they make their decision. And so I don't feel put upon by this decision. I feel like as a teacher, I will do everything I possibly can to make it a great situation for kids. And I feel like once school starts, it will feel a lot like school. And so the answer to that parent who asked me was, no, I don't feel put upon by the district. I feel as though they have acted in a very responsible kind of way, and that it wasn't some kind of premeditated movement to get parents' hopes up, and then, you know, they were going to have to make this decision anyway. It was completely made with the Department of Health and the current infection rates. And so from that point, I go forward, and I'm really looking forward to being in the classroom and with kids again.
And I think I mean, as a parent, and my personal opinion, that is supported. We have a survey out right now from the PTA trying to see what parents' concerns are. One of the biggest ones is class size. So I think, you know, that this is, I think it's an opportunity for all of us to see what a smaller class size looks like, what the teachers can do with, you know, more individualized learning and less kids in the class, you know, and how our kids respond to that, respond to, you know, more one-on-one interaction with the teacher, smaller interaction with the teacher, as opposed to, I think sometimes we feel like our kids get lost in the shuffle and maybe their needs aren't always addressed. So I'm looking forward to smaller class sizes. So I hope parents are feeling the same, that while this is inconvenient for everybody, it's a struggle, and, you know, that I think we're going to get a huge benefit out of it. The days that they are in class, that we just have to follow up. So any other parents? Anybody else have anything?
I have a question, and I guess
Good morning, Amber. How are you?
Hi, good. My son's gonna have Miss Bittner, so maybe she can answer me. But I think one of my biggest concerns is, like, if it's gonna be still fun and school still be fun.
They banned fun at Centerville. If you heard that, there's no more fun. They canceled fun.
Oh, I mean, I'm just worried about that. I guess, you know, there's no equipment at recess. There's at lunch they have to sit 6 feet apart. I'm just worried about, I mean, do you think the environment at school will still be positive and kids will still thrive? And do you know what I'm saying?
You're on mute, Nancy.
Or do you feel, I guess, or do you feel like it will be a stressful environment? I guess is my biggest worry about sending my kids back.
Right. I think it will look a lot like school. And the teachers always spend time at the beginning teaching procedures, but kids are really pretty good at it at school. You know, I know that keeping a mask on is a struggle, and it'll be a funny thing. They'll come to school, and you know what? They'll keep their mask on because we ask them to. And I think I often have parents will say something like, you know, he has a hard time sitting still. And funny thing, they come to school, and for some reason they're pretty good at it. And I think as teachers, it's a little bit too hard for us not to make school as engaging as we possibly can. And so will my classroom look different? It will be a little bit different, but it's all still there, and the components are there. And maybe rather than all the kids dipping their hands into a manipulative box, I will have it ready for them to use individually. And will I have workshop time? Well, it's the best part of the day. You can ask any kindergarten kid who's out there. And will we need to disinfect things in between classes? And the answer to that is yes. And but I intend on day one, you know, making that procedures known, but I also have always tried to have procedures in a way that is not scary, because too many rules kind of scare kids. And it's the adults in their life that convey this nervousness about all of it. And should we be vigilant? The answer is absolutely. But I think we're going to try and make it just so much like school has always been as we can, with a mask on.
Yeah, I'm actually
Okay.
more worried about myself than I am about the kids, because when I come to school and it's high fives and hugs and kids jumping on me and wrestling me, and now I'm afraid to go to school because I can't control myself. So I don't know how I'm going to handle going back to school. My kids are fine. I'm nervous. Does that help, Amber? And I'm sure a lot of parents are worried about what
Yeah,
is
I know a
school be
lot of
fun.
people are just worried about the environment. Yeah, that helped a lot. Thanks.
I think everybody that's at the school is best interest to make it fun. I mean, to make it.
Sometimes I picture it being, like in The Wizard of Oz when the flying monkeys are yo hee ho. I picture us marching down the hallway in a certain way, but I know that I won't be able to have it be. I don't know, anything but what it's always been, with a few modifications. So I think you can be sure that we'll do everything we can to make that a positive experience and as loving and caring as we possibly can.
So I'm excited because growing up in South Jersey, on the farmlands, our class size is only about 12 kids. So I think that we were so much closer being just 12 kids than having a room full of 24 or 30. I think these kids will be even closer and have better friendships and team building and stuff like that, being such a small unit, and they'll get together better and stuff like that. Possibly another district had a little thing about it, but if we're on Monday and Wednesday, and on Tuesday and Thursday, if we choose, or parents choose, they contact the other parents and go to the park together and work out some of those lessons, discuss things together in that little unit that we have. So that's stuff that we can do as parents to follow up with what teachers are doing and keep those kids together and engaged, working together. Because nothing says we can't do that, but we can't work together.
I will
I also intend on, in my class, doing a little bit of simulcasting, having perhaps a reading lesson every day that I simulcast. So, for instance, I think that teaching reading in kindergarten is super hard, and so that every day at a certain time, that's probably what I will do, is simulcast my lesson, so that kids at home could log in and be part of the lesson every day, because that's the nature of teaching just kindergarten, is that we add a little bit every day, and without that, it's a tricky thing. So it's just an idea I have for just my classroom, and every teacher will be individual about that.
What were you saying, Jennifer?
I was saying that I will miss hugging my kids, because that's a big deal, like at the door when they walk in the door first thing in the morning. And hopefully that doesn't sound too weird to parents. I don't know. But when they come in the door first thing in the morning, I'm going to be throwing a thermometer in their face instead of giving them a hug. I hate that part. But I definitely will miss that. And I'll miss, my hugs at the end of the day. It's, thank you for being here. Thank you for, participating today. Thank you for, everything you did. And, that's been my routine for 15 years. And, it's something that I have to change. So am I looking forward to this? Absolutely. I'm so excited about school starting, and I'm so excited about actually being in the classroom and seeing my kids again. But there are elements to it that I will definitely have a hard time with.
And I think there'll be kids that struggle with that. There's a lot of kids, that have, that respond better to affection and acknowledgement that way. I think some of those kids are going to struggle more than others. Some that are fine just being alone in their desk, but
Yep.
some who need that hug, that high five, that physical acknowledgement that you exist and that you're doing a good job. So I think we as school leaders and teachers stuff need to figure out a way to keep doing that and support our kids that need that, and to recognize that and maybe find a way to support them. So anybody else? I know we talked about a lot. There's a lot going on. And like I said, this is as of 10 a.m. on Monday. So at 10:05, just like last week, things could change. I mean, it wasn't about an hour after we logged off last Monday that everything changed, and we just kind of joked that it was going to, but we didn't know that it actually would. So hopefully we answer everybody's questions. Anybody else have anything? All right, so I guess that we'll just close that for the week. I appreciate everybody that's here. Please pass it on to everybody the information we talked about. We'll post this. We have a PTA board meeting tomorrow. We got a lot of things coming up, a lot of things to talk about. We'll do this every Monday as long as we have to, or as long as teachers and everybody can support. Maybe we'll figure out something that when school starts to do it on Fridays when everybody's kind of home. I mean, kind of a follow up what happened this week and what do we like, don't like, and we can help out. So looking for your input. There is a survey out that if you haven't taken, I'll repost on Facebook, or I know some of you guys are on Facebook, so I'll try to find a way to send it out to everybody. The information's been hard to get out to everybody without social media, because right now we kind of run the school social media, but Class Dojo's off for most people, so it's hard for us to get a lot of information out. So please email us and let us know if you have anything. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, if you'll stay on for just a second.